My dear cadets, Jai Hind and good morning. Today, on 15th of August 2021, we have completed 74 years of independence. We enter into our 75th year as a sovereign, independent nation state. Heartiest congratulations to each one of us for this. Now, 75 years is not a very long time for a nation state. But remember, we trace back our history to one of the oldest civilizations known to humankind. From there onwards, we evolved through our share of triumphs, tumults, and upheavals, and we are where we are today. I'm sure your schools would have taught you about the freedom struggle. Our freedom did not come easy. We got our freedom because our freedom fighters sacrificed their lives, limbs, and their freedom. Most of them, as you know, spent most of their youth and elder days in languishing in various British jails all over the country. But their sacrifices bore fruit on 15th of August 1947 when we gained our independence. Like all colonies, we were looted by our colonizers, and when we got our freedom, we were in a very impoverished state. We had just lost about 30 lakh, that's more than 3 million lives, to starvation in the Bengal famine. We were one of the poorest countries in this world. We had no industry to talk about. Our literacy rate was abysmal. Our social indices in terms of health, everything was among the lowest in this world. I'm not sure if you fully appreciate the nature in which we inherited our freedom, the condition in which we inherited the nation as a free country. We were one of the poorest nations in this world. We had just lost, just 3-4 years before independence, almost 30 lakh people. That is more than 3 million in the Bengal famine. We had no food grains. We had no educational facilities. We had no infrastructure, no industries, no nothing. We had to start from the scratch. That was not our only problem. Most of the world thought a country as diverse as ours, with multiple ethnicities, multiple languages, multiple castes, religions, multiple historic lineages, geographic construct. The world thought that we will not exist as a democratic nation for more than a few years. But we are where we are today. We have proved to the world, and as in today in 21st century, we are one of the most influential nations, undeniably, in this world. Not that we did not have our challenges. We had challenges galore, both internal as well as external. The internal challenges we talked about a little earlier, the poverty, lack of infrastructure, lack of educational facilities, lack of everything. We have improved on most of them. And while we were at it, we had to face many serious existential threats from our enemies, from our not so friendly neighbors, from various quarters. That our borders have not lost an inch of land in this 75 years. In fact, we have only added on to it with a few legitimate acquisitions that were rightly ours, that is Kashmir in October 1947, Goa in 1961, and yes, I'm forgetting Hyderabad in 1948, that we have added on to it and not lost an inch of our land, is thanks to the thousands of young men who fought for the integrity of this nation and sacrificed their lives all along our northern, western, and eastern borders, not to mention the sea and the air. So today, when we're on the cusp of celebrating the 75 years of our freedom, I want you all to remember three sets of people. Firstly, those who gained us our freedom fighters, without whom we would not have been free, perhaps even today. Secondly, those brave martyrs who gave up their lives all along our borders to preserve the integrity of our nation and still do almost on a daily basis. Thirdly, I want you to remember the family of these martyrs who are suffering every day the loss of their sons, their parents, their husbands, which we cannot fill. Perhaps we must do more than just remembering these people. Perhaps to get even with them for their sacrifice, or to do justice to their sacrifice, we should do something for this nation. What do we do? What do you do as NCC cadets? Firstly, I urge you to excel in whatever you choose to do for the rest of your lives. I want you to excel in that field in such a way that your nation is proud of you. Secondly, I want you to help. I want you to help the weak, the needy, the elderly, the poor. All these people in whichever way you can, and to whatever extent you can, as many times as possible. Without this teamwork, our country cannot progress. We need to realize that we are only as strong of our weakest link. Please help them. And thirdly and finally, for those among you who feel you have it in you to serve the country to the very extreme, I welcome you into the armed forces of the nation. Together, let's take India back to the pinnacle of glory. Jai Hind.